There's been a lot of perhaps comments that China is uninvestable. And I'm curious how you think about lending money to companies in China when at the stroke of a pen, Beijing changes the rules. How do you deal with that sort of headline regulatory risk?
Just because 5 other people refuse to stand in the path of an oncoming truck doesn't mean you should. You know, you shouldn't be a contrarian just for the hell of it, or in a knee-jerk reaction, but it's among the things that other people won't do that you should look. And if China is considered uninvestable, then chances are, whatever risk you're thinking about bearing in China, you'll be better paid to take it. So
how is that risk reward profile in China, particularly given Evergrande, the property sector, the over leveraged, headlines that we've come out of there? Is that why it looks so relatively attractive?
Well, look, we've been investing in China for the last 6 years. Primarily, well, we own a bunch of equities, but primarily buying NPLs. And we've done more each year. We've done it in partnership with what they call the asset management companies, which are the companies that take these things off the bank's books. We've done very well. It's gone smoothly. The process, you talk about Beijing taking value off with the stroke of a pen. In theory, that's possible. We've never seen it. And the rule of law operates, and our experience has been very good. That's why we've been doing it more every year. And our non-U.S. head of opportunistic credit moved 3 years ago from London to Hong Kong to amp up our activities in China. And so far so good. The guy jumped off the 20-story building at the 10th floor. He said, so far so good. We'll see how it goes. But you mentioned Evergrande and the property sector. So far, we have yet to see how that's going to unfold. Obviously the Evergrande Day, they call it Evergrande Day and Evergrande Day, yeah, and the sector are struggling. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see whether the rule of law is followed, whether the collateral is adequate, and whether it ends up in the right hands. But look, China hasn't had a recession since the Mao era, which ended in, I think, 78. And these things haven't been tested, like bankruptcy processes. But we're optimistic.
What makes you so optimistic about China, and where do you see a risk that view could be wrong?
Our dealings in China have always been positive. My relationships in China are incredibly positive. And I think that China wants to be a player in the world financial order in the coming years. And I think they understand that they have to be a good actor in order to do that. Now, obviously, this conflicts with maybe the desire to reunite with Taiwan, for example, and that's going to be a big friction point, because that's one it's hard to compromise on. They're not going to say, yeah, fine, Taiwan, you can be independent, and we're not going to say, fine, China, you can have Taiwan. So you have two polar positions. It's hard to find one in between, and I have no idea how that's going to resolve. But I believe for the most part that the Chinese people are of goodwill. Certainly the people I've dealt with over there are. They have a lot of resources. They're obviously very well coordinated. They don't have this cumbersome thing called democracy to deal with. They do what they want to do. So, nothing's perfect. We have some problems too. The whole world has problems. I think that China will, if you drew a spectrum of China's future behavior from the worst imaginable to the best imaginable, or the fondest hope, I think they'll be closer than most people think to the positive end.